Veterans Day, one of the few holidays in the U.S. that has a more serious meaning than others. On this day, we honor those that have served our country and pay tribute to those lost at war. I'm Robert Young, and welcome to another edition of the Hivecast. Here in the U.S., we celebrate Veterans Day on November 11th every year. But this day has importance for other countries as well. On November 11th, 1918, at 11 a.m., the First World War came to an end when Germany surrendered to the Allies. A year later, Woodrow Wilson ordered a new holiday to be created on this day called Armistice Day. However, it wasn't until 1954 when President Dwight D. Eisenhower and Congress passed a law that changed the holiday from Armistice to Veterans Day. The purpose of the holiday is to pay honor and respect to veterans of all wars, not just the world wars. There are roughly 18 million veterans in the US today, and they all have a story to tell. I talked to two here in Lancaster County. Mr. Richard Knight may not live in Beaufort or have gone to Beaufort High School, but his son, Richie, is the director of the multipurpose building here at Beaufort. Here's what he had to say about his time in the Air Force. What would you say was the best part of being in the military during?
Well, Robbie, I think the best part of being in the military is the fact that you're serving your country.
Yeah.
There's other reasons, and I can touch on them too. But service, it's an honor to be in the military and serve, our country. But at the same time, if you go in the military, you mature faster. And I was only 17 when I enlisted. Well, I was 17 when I started thinking about it. And 2 days after I turned 18, I took my oath to serve 4 years in the Air Force. And I got I matured fast because I was just and I learned from traveling. I got to travel a lot. I went to Germany when I was 18 years old. I'd never been any place much in my life. I'd never been to Myrtle Beach when I went in the Air Force.
But there is someone with a similar story right here at Beaufort. Major Scott Cato is the senior instructor for the JROTC class. Here's what he had to say about his time in the Army. So, when did you first enter the service in the military?
It was September of 1984.
Okay. You en- you entered into the Army, correct?
Army National Guard.
Army National.
Yes.
So, what events did you serve in, like wars or?
Okay. Well, I was in the Guard as a full-time person. It was entitled Active Guard Reserve, which gave me like active duty status. Um, in my 20th year, I've served. Right at my 20th year, we were deployed to Iraq.
All
So
right.
I'd been in for 20 years and never deployed anywhere, just did our annual trainings that we do once a year and other exercises that we participated in. But the only deployment I ever been on was when we went to Iraq.
In Iraqi freedom, correct?
That is correct. Iraqi Freedom 2.
Yeah.
And that was in 2003. We were notified that we were deployed to Iraq. And I actually landed in Kuwait in February of 2004 and departed Iraq February of 2005.
All right. And you were part of the South Carolina. What was it? What division?
It's the South Carolina Army National Guard. My unit was the 3rd of 178 Field Artillery, located here in Lancaster. Um, we were an 8-inch self-propelled field artillery unit, and then we later um, retrained and refitted as an MLRS unit.
All
We
right.
shot rockets, but when we got back from Iraq, the following year in '06, they disbanded our unit and turned it into an engineer unit.
Okay.
And so then, by the time they did all that, I decided to go ahead and retire because I'm a
Ah.
true redneck.
Yeah.
I'm field artillery all the way.
Yeah. I am thankful for these great men, along with all who have served in the military. We live in the greatest country in the world thanks to the men and women who left their homes and livelihoods to protect our freedoms. I encourage you to spend some time on Friday thanking a veteran for their service. This is Robert Young reminding you to be greater than average.